Should I stop on my side?
If you want to.
Okay, no.
Because normally we do like a little back and forth in the introductions, you know. So I don't think you need to stop.
Okay, I'll stop it after then.
Great, thank you. On this episode, we are talking about our work-life balance as self-proclaimed workaholics.
Or lack thereof.
Let's not attack ourselves in the introduction here.
I'm just saying. Let's be honest. Let's be real.
This episode is for someone who feels like they haven't rested in a while and they just need someone who can relate. Coming from us, it's going to be okay. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be okay. And we hope that this episode is like a little warm hug. Or is the rest that you require? Who knows? Enjoy.
That was good.
Okay, so we are doing things a bit differently this week, actually.
Exciting.
Yeah, we are not in the same room together. We
Which
are
is
divided.
sad.
We are divided. One house, many rooms. We're not even in the same area code currently.
No, we're really not. And honestly, it's the saddest thing. It's the saddest thing. But it's okay. We're keeping it pushing. And we'll see how this goes.
We're rolling with the punches that life gives us, you know, between
yeah.
both of our busy schedules and whatever else kind of excuse.
The price of fuel, babe. It's expensive in these streets. And
so expensive.
The amount of traveling I actually have to do this week alone is insane. So I'm glad we're doing it like this, to be honest.
Tell us about that. What's going on your schedule?
So I have to go to work. I went to work today. I have to go on Wednesday. I have to go on Thursday. And then on Sunday, I have another friend's birthday party that I have to go to.
Oh my goodness. So many August babies. How are you dealing?
Dude, I can't deal. I don't know what's wrong with me. All my friends are born in August. I need to cut some friendships because I am running dry. I'm getting broke, getting everyone gifts. And I know I don't have to, but I'm a gift person. Like, I enjoy doing that for my friends. So, yeah, August is really painful every single year. And I still need to go see another friend who's around for the week. So, yeah, I'm already like, the fuel alone is bankrupting me, plus all the gifts for August. I don't want to do this anymore. I deserve friends born in other months.
I would just like to say that it was not my fault to be born in August. And I would also like to say that I told you I didn't want anything.
I feel like you could have pushed another egg in front of you and then just waited until like, you know, the next month to be conceived. But you were in a rush. For what reason? I don't know.
You mean push an egg like in the... Okay,
in the uterus.
Push an egg like in real life.
Why would I ask you to push an egg?
I thought it was gonna be some analogy of like you push the egg and then you sit on it and you wait for it to hatch.
No, I quite literally just meant you, like you as an egg in your mom's body. Oh my gosh, I can't even deal with you right now.
Oh my gosh! In my defense, I did have a massive migraine today. I was alliterating to a message that I sent to you. Mm-hmm. It was the migraine of all... What did I even say?
You said the migraine of all migraines to ever migraine or something like that.
Yes. And then to another friend, I was like, it's the mother of all migraines. It's the MOM. It's the mom. It's the mom.
It's the mom. Shame, man. How are you feeling now, though?
I'm feeling a lot better, actually. 4 Myprodols, but we got
there. Oh my gosh. That's a lot of Myprodols. How are you awake right now? How did you not overdose?
I'm struggling, actually. How did I not overdose? I don't know, because the first 2 I had on an empty stomach.
Are you actually insane?
I'm genuinely insane. And then the second 2, I had one before I left for therapy and then one as I arrived at therapy. But I had eaten by then, so that was something. Yeah. So I really want my ulcers back. I
Clearly.
really want my ulcers back by this clear, careless decision making.
Girl, but at least I'm happy you're feeling better because migraines are not cute. They're not it. I have experienced them firsthand, and yeah, it's the pits. But I'm happy you're okay now.
Thank you, thank you. I actually didn't know how to act. I was being so dramatic about it. I was like on my deathbed. I was lying on my bed like, oh my gosh, this is the end of the world. And I'm thinking I literally used to deal with chronic migraines, like one a day for like 4 or 5 months in a row, you know? And now I've had one after not having it for like 10 to 11 months, and all of a sudden, like, I don't know how to be an adult about it, you know?
As you should, though. But I have a question. What would I inherit from you?
When I die?
Yeah, like if you died of your migraine with your dramatic self being on your deathbed, what would I inherit?
I would give you all of my skincare stuff, and like my lotions and creams and perfumes and stuff like that.
Really? Why?
Why?
I feel like I should be offended. What's wrong with my skin?
I feel like you should be honored. I've got like the bushiest skincare.
Oh my gosh. Okay, fine. I'll take it, I guess.
I literally have a serum from The Ordinary. What do you mean?
Girl, I can get a serum from The Ordinary. I want something.
But now when I die, you don't have to.
Well, but it's going to finish. And because my skin is going to get used to it. Actually, you know what? I don't appreciate that because you're giving me an expensive inheritance. Because when I use all those things and my skin is now used to your bougie products, I'm going to have to keep buying them with what money?
Okay. Can I think about this and get back to you in like 3 to 5 business days?
That's fine. I will still take the skincare. However, I want something that is like more permanent and maybe more sentimental.
Oh, okay, because my next thing was going to be like, I can give you my socks because I've got a collection of really cute socks.
I do need socks right now, so I would take those as well. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay. But this week we're actually going to be talking about work-life balances because we are both self-proclaimed workaholics.
Yeah. I can't not be working, and I hate that about myself, actually. Well, not hate. It's a good thing, but then like I get burnt out so quickly. You remember after third year, we were both suffering from adrenal fatigue because of how much we would not stop working, even at the end of our honors year as well. We just were suffering and we did it to ourselves. Obviously, the workload was quite a lot, but this whole thing of being overachievers, going above and beyond, doing more than necessary has a dark side to it because now I'm always tired. I think I was saying to you before we started recording that when I wake up exhausted. And this is me having like 6 to 8 hours of sleep, but I wake up exhausted, so drained. And it sucks. Like this morning, I woke up and I wanted to cry, Michaela. Like I was so tired. And I just had a weekend and I didn't even feel it, but I'm just so tired all the time. And it's because I'm constantly overworking myself, right? I want to be the best lecturer for my students. I want to be available to them. I want to be available to my friends. I want to be available to my family to do all these things for, everyone around me. But I'm not giving myself any time. And if you know me, you know I'm a little bit of an introvert. I love spending time by myself. I only talk too much when I'm around people I'm comfortable with. But in general, when I'm at home, I spend all day in my room. Like I love my own space, my own company. And I just haven't been doing that. Or if I am in my own space, I'm working. So there hasn't been a balance and I'm suffering the consequences. And I honestly don't know how to remedy it because like life is still happening. Work is still working. Everyone else is still everyone elsing and needing me in whatever capacity they need me. And it's getting more and more exhausting making myself available. And I just feel like, just ghosting everyone fully and just like being isolating for a bit. But I know that that's also not good for me. So, what is that work life balance and how do we achieve it?
Oh my goodness. First of all, what you said about being available to everyone, like, you're available to everyone except yourself at this point, And that already is like red flag number one, Like, it's ground zero for adrenal fatigue, mental burnout, whatever your like choice of cupcake term is for it, And I think whatever flavor, that's what I meant to say, not whatever choice of cupcake.
I was going with it, okay? I was like, I understand what she means.
whatever flavor you want to go for. But I think at the end of the day, like, the most basic thing that you can do is just set boundaries. And whether it's switching off your laptop from 8 p.m. onwards, because obviously, like, you have to be realistic about it. You are a lecturer. You do still need to be available for your students, things like that. But I think at the end of the day, being a good lecturer also means setting boundaries and having office hours, because you don't want to put yourself in this position where you can't be the best because you're tired, And I feel like that's also where you're headed currently, is like, I'm trying to be the best, but I'm actually going to end up being the worst. And it's counterproductive. It's counterintuitive. And so my question was actually going to be like, how do you practice a work-life balance? Clearly you don't have one.
Well, I will say I am actively trying to pursue one. Especially because you and I decided to start on soft 30, even though we're not actively, doing that. So basically, if you guys have heard of 75 hard, where you set all these like really deep goals and you have to follow every single thing every day or else you start again. Even if you're on like day 71 and you mess up, you're starting out on day one again. We're not doing that. Nobody has the capacity for that. We're doing a 30 soft, where we give ourselves small, realistic, attainable goals and we try our best to achieve them. Even if you don't get them all, you're not necessarily going to start again. However, it has to be way more intentional, and trying our best to achieve those small things. Right. So as part of my soft 30 soft, whatever, setting boundaries has been one of the goals for me, because I have a friend who's quite good at that. She sets boundaries really well. And I'm like, how do you do that? Just because I've always been in the service of others and I don't know how to be in service of myself. I'm learning to set those boundaries and, not responding when I don't need to. Funny enough, I said we'd speak about this at the end, but it's actually so relevant now. So
no, I'm noticing she was like very not keen to talk about 30 soft and soft ghosting. I really wasn't. And it's just magically made itself appear in the conversation.
And I hate to admit when you are right. I hate admitting that. But you were very right. Because honestly, I didn't want to talk about it just because we haven't finished the 30 soft and I genuinely wanted to see what the outcome is after actively practicing it. And then I feel like I would have been able to talk about it more. But you asked the question of how I practice a work-life balance. And this is the only way I'm doing it. So it's super relevant. So you were right. I'll give it to you. Honestly, I'll give it to you. You'll never hear me say that again. So savor the moment.
First of all, I think I'll be hearing it for a very long time after this because I'm right in a lot of situations.
Oh my gosh, I can't stand you.
Second of all, I think also the premise of 30 soft or soft 30 or whatever doesn't necessarily need to be something that is experienced in order to be able to talk about it.
Valid.
You know, you can talk about something. You can talk about something while you're going through it and while you are training yourself. And like we said, we're not being active in it in the first place. It's not a cardinal sin it's not a cardinal sin to talk about it anyways.
Yeah, okay, true. I just think, you know, how do I say this? This is why I need to be learn to be a words lady. I'm I know we set very specific goals, but I'm actively practicing maybe half of them because that's what I have the capacity for. So it's those setting boundaries. I'm trying my best to like keep up with my gym activity. But yeah, that's how I'm trying to practice my work-life balance, is using 30 soft, inputting more of the little things that I would like to be doing that would make me feel like myself. Yeah, but what about you? What is your experience with work-life balance?
Yeah, so I would say not a good one.
Okay.
I think not a great one. My experience has not been a good one in terms of having a work-life balance, because you go from wanting to be the best in uni and wanting to graduate cum laude and wanting to make yourself proud, make your parents proud, make your lecturers proud, all of these different ingredients in this pot that we're stirring, you know? And then you get the academic validation, but at the cost of your mental health. You know?
Yeah.
And at the cost of, now I've got adrenal fatigue, now I've got mental burnout, now I've got anxiety, now I'm on serotonin supplements, you know? Like, it's such a... I threw up a peace sign.
Just a little peace sign.
When I said serotonin
that
supplements.
Was so,
that's why she giggled.
You looked... It was so funny. Anyway, go on.
But yeah, and then honors came around and I started working part-time while studying full-time. And then my adrenal fatigue from third year was never fully solved and was never fully worked through because I didn't have the time to sit and process it and feel better and do things that gave me the energy back and that set those boundaries and that made me feel full in a way that wasn't because of work, you know? And then literally like I had 2 weeks between finishing honors and starting work full time. 2 weeks to recover from an entire year's worth of academics plus working part-time.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
That is not enough.
It's not enough. It doesn't even scratch the surface.
And I actually really regret that, to be honest with you. That was one of the things that I really regretted, because I started working December of 2022 and I then I had the 2 weeks, then I had 3 weeks of work, and then I had a week off for Christmas. And then it was just back to normal.
Dude.
Like full-time working.
Yeah.
Where was my rest?
And on top of that, we were already going through a pretty tough, mental semester. So on top of all that, you have stress and anxiety from that. And you aren't resting and you just go straight into work. And your work also, the workload you had was a lot. So there was zero rest for you. And I remember being genuinely concerned about you and being like, is this girl going to be okay? Because this is a lot and it's crazy. And there's nothing I could do to help you. And it's just, looking back, man, those are tough days.
Yeah, it was not. Hindsight is always 2020. Literally... sometimes you have to be out of the situation for a while and your brain needs to be cleared of the fog in order for you to see the situation for what it was. And what it was not healthy. It was not a work-life balance. It was not good for my health. It was not good for my well-being. It just sucked. It really just sucked.
That's a snippet right there.
Now that I'm older and hopefully wiser about the situation, I was actually saying to my therapist today, I feel like I'm starting to come around to the whole work-life balance thing. Because now that I'm freelancing, I can set my own hours.
Mm-hmm. I love that for you.
So if I decide, like this morning, I woke up with a migraine, I was like, I'm just going to have a 0 day. I'm not even going to try and work. It's not going to happen. Anything that I do is just going to be redone tomorrow, so I might as well take a break. And I'm also saving the client's time and money because I'm not working at my expense and at their expense.
Yeah.
I'm deciding I'm going to take a break. I'm going to pace myself. And I set that boundary for myself. And now it's like, I feel so much better because of it. And I was saying to my therapist, I feel so much more like myself because work is not the be all and end all anymore. Work is not determining my choices. Work is not taking up 90% of my life anymore, you know? It's not taking up a solid 40%, if anything. And I actually kind of love it for myself because I'm going on the hot girl walks at random hours of the day, you know? Like, it's not just necessarily an after work thing. It's like a during work thing. I'm going to the gym at 12 p.m. for a Pilates class, you know?
Yeah.
Like, where in my life, working at my previous job, would I have been able to do that?
That is very
you
true.
know? And I actually kind of love it now. I'm really starting to feel more like myself. And it's just because I made that conscious realization that work is not the thing. How can I say this nicely? Work is not going to be around for you when you are retired, you know? Work is not the thing that is going to come visit you in the retirement home. Work is not the thing that's going to be sitting in the pews at your wedding, you know?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Like, work is not going to be the one that supports you when things go wrong in life. Like, that's not gonna happen. It's your relationships. It's the people that you know. It's the choices that you make outside of work that's going to be there for you in those aspects, you know? And it's just so disheartening to look back on the past and the fact that I found pride in being so busy. I want to smack myself, right? I want to smack myself. Like, how stupid are you for valuing the fact that you are literally getting 6 hours of sleep, but you're actually resting for 2 of those hours, you know? And so you end up running on fumes by the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You have to now try and balance it out because you want to go spend time with your friends, you want to spend time with your family, and you just never rest. And now I cannot see myself doing that again. I don't think I'd be able to, but I genuinely do want to smack past Michaela for like being like, oh my gosh, I'm so busy, dramatic hair flip. Like,
I don't think you should slap past Michaela because we wouldn't know that. You wouldn't know this now if it wasn't for her. And I feel like our workaholic selves served their purpose. They did what they needed to do. We got our degrees cum laude. We passed honors with really good marks, and that was fine for then. But I don't think it's fine anymore for now. Now, it's very important for us to really grow into our best selves, and that doesn't involve us working ourselves to the bone. You know, growing up with, I think, of parents' generation value hard work a lot, and it's very important, but so is rest, because then you can show up as your best self. And I'm so grateful to have a job that I work. You know what? It's true, but it's not true. It's a part-time job, but I'm working full-time because I have to get ready. Like, if I have classes on Monday, I use part of my Friday or Sunday to get ready for that. And then I have a class on Wednesday, but I use Tuesday to get ready for that. So I'm still working every day, but I'm starting to come around to a schedule where I plan all my classes in 1 or 2 days for the next week, so that when I have an off day, I have an off day. And I've been taking nights off lately. So I feel like practicing this work-life balance through the 30 soft has been so helpful that I'm starting to kind of develop some semblance of a work-life balance. Because like you said, I don't want to go back there. It wasn't cute. Like I also used to be so proud, be like, yeah, I'm a workaholic. I used to brag about that. That's not a cute thing to brag about. I don't even like working. Like I want to be a freaking housewife, man. Okay, that's also comes with jobs. I'm not saying like housewives don't do
Mm,
anything. However, I want to be a housewife with people that do the jobs for me so
right.
that I don't have to do
So
anything.
you want to be a household project manager.
Basically, yes, that is exactly what I'm looking for. But obviously I feel like I'd get bored after a while, but it's okay. Um, and as much as I love my job, it's not everything. While you were scrolling on Pinterest when we were preparing for this, I saw this quote that said, "You can't do your job well if your job is all you do."
Mm,
And I was like, that was a slap in the face because that's me. My job is all I do, it's all I talk about. And I don't want to do that. Like, it's not even my life. I'm literally, quite literally, counting down the days until my contract ends so I can go and find my ideal fashion job. And I love lecturing, but it's not what I want for myself forever. So I shouldn't make it my whole life now. Um, Even if it's what I wanted to do forever, it's only a part of my life. I have other things that I enjoy. I have hobbies. I have friends. I have rest. I have nothing. Even just sitting doing nothing, staring at the sky, that just is nice to me.
mm,
So I want to find ways to grow into a more restful self, that will then allow me to do my job well as and when I need to. Um, but it's also not that deep. Like, I don't want to, how do I say this? I don't want to switch from one end to the other. So, from being a workaholic to not putting enough effort in the name of rest, I want to find that balance. And it's going to be an interesting journey for me because I feel like I don't know how to do the middle. It's either I'm working hard or
mm.
I'm doing nothing. There's no like in between. And I'm trying to figure out what that looks like for me. But I'm really happy that you are starting to feel more like yourself because, girl, watching from the sidelines while you were like busy working, you'd be texting me, be like, yeah, I'm busy tagging stuff. And it was 10 p.m. And I would be like, what? Are you serious? And you had been like driving all over the freaking province the whole day. And I was highly concerned. And I just didn't know what to do about it. And I find myself heading in that same
Mm.
direction where now I'm the one who's running around like a headless chicken. And I just don't now have the capacity or the time to do anything restful. And then that brings about feelings of guilt. And oh man, I'm not even contributing enough to, for example, with the podcast, you do all the editing, and I'm so grateful that you do that. But it makes me feel bad because I would like to contribute more, but I just don't have the capacity to do that because I'm always working.
Mm.
And I don't want to be like that. I want to be like, oh, let me edit this episode this week, because I can and because I want to, because I've made time to. So I'm gonna work really hard to get that balance. I really want that for myself.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is not an attack on you. This is like it's a general you as well. I just need to preface this because I don't need you being like, oh
Okay.
my goodness, Michaela, you're so rude. Like, no. Do you think that the reason that you struggle with a that anyone would struggle with a work-life balance is due to like a lack of discipline?
In what sense?
So I know for me, sometimes the reason that I would take forever to do something is because I was actually being distracted by Instagram or TikTok, you know? And so then
Okay.
instead of getting the task done, I would sit with the task in front of me on my phone, scrolling. Like I would just be stuck, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, do you think that, well, maybe not is like a cause, but is maybe a factor, like a lack of discipline or a
Mm-hmm.
lack of being intentional with your time?
I definitely think that, yeah, for sure. I don't think it's like the base
Mm.
cause. However, I do think it contributes. And I think part of that is also maybe looking for pieces of like rest. Because scrolling through social media is what I would do if I'm chilling.
But how,
And maybe
why?
because
Mm-hmm. Carry on, sorry. Carry on.
no,
We'll get to
ask
it.
ask your question.
I wanted to ask because I don't find scrolling through social media restful.
Oh, really? I do actually.
I was gonna say, I consider it a distraction more than anything else. Like, I'm distracting myself
Really?
from the world around me, from the task I'm supposed to be doing, from trying not to look like an awkward potato in public, you know, that kind of vibe. I don't necessarily, and I literally scroll on social media to distract myself from sleeping.
That is so interesting. I find social media, for me at least, restful because I've been intentional about who I follow.
Mm,
I follow people for reasons, well, depending on the page they have, because I genuinely enjoy their content and watching them is relaxing to me. Like the one I just sent you before we started, the guy making flowers. I love flowers and I love watching people make bouquets. I don't know how many you didn't check your phone, did you?
on Instagram.
Yes, literally before we started recording.
I don't have my notifications set for any of my social media
Uh,
platforms besides WhatsApp.
okay, because it's a distraction.
Exactly. And so I don't want it to distract me
Uh-huh.
any more than it already has, you know?
No, for me, I just enjoy watching people's content and it's restful for me. Yes, there are times I use it as a distraction, as everyone does. However, primarily, that's not what it is to me.
Mm.
A distraction would be going on to Superbalist and online shopping. That's what I've been distracting myself with these days because I feel like I'm in my buying dresses era because I'm obsessed with dresses.
Love that for you, by the way.
Honestly, it's amazing. And I found a couple. I just need the the bank for it. But that's what's a distraction to me is online window shopping. Scrolling through socials, not so much. So, but I do understand your perspective as to the lack of discipline. And in general, yes, it definitely does play a role in like not using my time as efficiently as I
Mm.
should. And I feel like, we all need to work on that one. But I don't think it's like the
Mm.
main thing, though. Or maybe, I don't know. I never thought about it that deeply.
Different people, different people.
But I think that's been the thing for me. I'm so intentional about who I follow that even if it leads me down a rabbit hole, it's not going to make me feel any type of way about myself. I leave watching their video feeling some feeling of like some positive feeling, whether it's joy or pride or I don't know, something. So for that's why social media is a wind down for me because I'm very picky about what I look at because what you take in is what you become. So I'm not on like the messy side of TikTok or I don't know, the weird celebrity side of
Mm.
Instagram. I'm not doing that. I'm really not doing that. So but I understand how it is a distraction because like you said, you go down those rabbit holes, even if it is a good type of rabbit hole it's still like you'll find yourself on TikTok for an hour easily, super easily. And that's where the discipline that you were talking about comes in, where maybe if I like set timers or use that scrolling time as a reward for doing my work, if it's something that like winds me down, then maybe after I scroll a bit, I have the energy to keep going with my work. So maybe it's like implementing those distractions as incentives to do work because work isn't fun
Mm.
sometimes. So I think I might look into doing something like that because it is a factor and it makes me, like you said, not use my time as efficiently as I should. So that's a very valid point. Thank you for that.
Thank you. You're welcome. Anytime, babe. I'm so glad that my wisdom can be your wisdom eventually.
Oh, please. You just asked me a question. What wisdom?
I do have one last question before we go.
Okay. Yes.
Where do you think lays not necessarily the boundary, but the difference between being present in your life and being professional in your work, and not letting those two mix, or like one become more heavily weighted than the other one? Like, where do you think that healthy, take a shot every time we say balance, but where do you think that healthy balance is for you? Like, where is your, this is when I'm going to be present and this is when I'm going to be professional?
I think it's really easy for me because professionalism is when I'm actually at work. And even then, my work environment is so informal that it leaves me space to still be myself. Obviously, everyone has a professional self and something like a more chill side of their selves, but I find that I can be both at work, which is really nice. I don't feel like I'm necessarily losing myself. I just feel like I'm losing rest. And that's kind of where my issue is. Um, and I'm surrounded by company at work that make it easy for me to, still be the person that I am. And that makes being at work easier. Um, so yeah, like for me, I'm just struggling with the rest bit. I just need to rest. But what about you? How do you Yeah. I don't remember how you asked me your question,
That
but
one.
like
That one.
retweet.
Repost.
Yeah.
I think for me, you mentioned how it's easy to be both at the same time, being both present and professional. And I think it's kind of the same for me as well. It's like I am very present about how I spend my time professionally. I'm very intentional with that. And so, like I said a bit earlier, I now have like set working hours. Sometimes if the deadline needs, I'll work a little bit later in the evenings. But at the most part, like I start work at 9 a.m. I finish at like 4:30, 5, like latest 5. But I think just the practice of it's okay to be present while being professional, and it's okay to not be present when you're being professional. Sometimes it's a mindless task, or you're talking to someone you don't want to talk to, or you're doing something that you're not very like excited to do, but it has to get done, and so you don't necessarily need to like have all your apples in a row for that specific task. It's okay. It's fine. And just kind of like making peace with that is like, not everything I do, I have to do 100%. I can do some things with 30%, some things with 40%, because eventually it gets done. It eventually gets done. Maybe a bit slower, maybe not as well as I would have done if I had given 100. But if you give 100 in everything that you do, you're going to be in meant to be city. You're going to be having adrenal fatigue, experiencing adrenal fatigue, experiencing like a burnout, and no one wants that. And so sometimes it's better for yourself at the end of the day to also give less. Even if you feel like you're in a good space, sometimes giving less is also just better for you and for potentially even the task. Because imagine, especially for me in a freelancing capacity, I give 100% in every task. The client comes back and says, oh, can you change X, Y, and Z? And now you've given 100%, and now you're upset that you have to change your 100%, because now you have to give 120 or 130%. And now you're tired with this project. Whereas if I gave 70%, oh, that extra 30, it gets me to 100. The client likes it. I'm sorted,
But it's such an interesting position to be in, especially for self-proclaimed workaholics, trying to basically go against our nature, because we want to do our best. We have to be the best. I was actually telling my boss today, I was telling him Yeah, I struggle with that because I'm not good at it immediately. I need to be the best at it. And I really don't. I don't need to be the best at everything that I do. And that is perfectly fine and it's perfectly acceptable. I just need to learn to accept
Mhm.
that. Because I don't. Not right now, I don't. But I'm interested to see where our work-life balance leads us. I hope we can have like something more solid. Well, more me than you, because you are starting to have a pretty good one. Um, but I'm hoping I can figure it out. The advantage is if my work gives me all the same classes next year, work life balance is gonna be easy because I already have the
Yeah,
work.
it's already pre-planned, it's pre-presented,
Yeah,
all the helpful extra links are
exactly.
sorted.
So they better not change too much. I'll be so mad. I'll be like, no, give me back my sessions. But regardless, I'm gonna take it as, a good opportunity to grow and to learn about how I can make my life a little more
Mm.
restful for me, just so that I can show up as my best self to everything that I need to my friends, and I
To
find that like
yourself.
if I don't do that, yes, to myself, but I'm realizing I'm a very other oriented person and I need to not be like that anymore. But yeah, this is going to be an interesting journey for the both of us, and I need you to keep me accountable and tell me
Always.
to rest.
Always.
Tell me to rest, tell me to focus on myself for once and do what's good for me. And if I need to like soft ghost people and take a nap, then that's exactly what I'm gonna do, and just not be working all the time. Because really, work is not my life. It's not.
And I think also I'm gonna speak about you because like give yourself grace, girl. This is the first time
Mm-hmm.
that you're in this kind of environment. This is the first time that you've ever been a lecturer, that you've ever been working part time, that you've ever been doing this, And so give yourself grace that
Yeah.
you haven't found that balance. Because also, if you think about it, the environment in which you are lecturing is ever changing. Your timetable doesn't stay the same, the courseware doesn't stay the same, the students, the classes, nothing stays the same. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's okay
Yeah.
if the balance is a little bit lopsided currently, And I think give yourself grace,
Yeah.
give the situation grace, but also prioritize yourself because you can't show up for others until you show up for yourself first.
That's a very Pinterest quote, and I love it.
It's something that you'd find like those wooden panels
Oh
that are
yeah,
like
yeah,
that are
yeah.
like hung on like a
In the
wall.
kitchen. It's
It's
very
giving that.
Tumblr 2010, and I am here for it.
You're welcome.
Did you notice that we got a rating on our podcast after I asked people to rate it?
Really?
Yeah, we got like
I
more than
actually
2
didn't
ratings.
see. I didn't see.
I checked. Well, the funny thing is, I went back to listen to it again because I love the last episode so much. I went to listen to it again on Spotify,
Guys,
and
we've
I
got
saw.
7 ratings. I
Is
gave
he?
1. You gave 1, so we actually have 5.
Girl, we have 7 ratings. Don't be hating. We truly appreciate you. Thank you for listening to us babble on and on. And man, I'm so grateful. Anyway, this was an interesting episode. I don't know how I feel after
I
the
kind
fact,
of love it.
or maybe it's just because I'm tired.
I think we're
so.
both running on fumes at this point, so let's just record the introduction. Okay.
Okay. Even if it was supposed to be me, I'm sorry, I wouldn't have done it today. I'd have been like, okay, let's get into it. Here you go.